working here.
They're not. But if people need more, they just can't get more. Wait, what? We're trying to get rid of the... Oh, great, sure. Yeah.
SGA.
I never got them.
Should I just sit back here? Or do you want me to show you just sitting?
Sit back here until Karen's exercise, then definitely.
Is this my chair?
It is now.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't currently have one, but I can get it like by.
Okay, I'll like scan the other one.
So did you put it as live?
Yeah, just testing if it is indeed.
Oh yeah, here.
Perfect. Perfect, perfect.
This is a nice camera.
I know, it's 4K. Oh, look at that. Look at that. See, this is even an upgrade from our usual live streams. This is just great. Can you hear everything?
I don't hear anything. Oh, because my mute's on.
That would explain it.
Yeah.
Perfect. And hey, if you're feeling creative, you can mess around with the video right here. Pan across or zoom in on Eli speaking.
Micah, have we? I think the website is updated ever since until the agendas from like last week.
I got the agenda for this
12th?
week.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you put it?
All linked. I'll post it.
You got it? Okay. But you sent him the updated Senate thing, right?
What are you talking about?
You sent him the updated Senate list, right?
I did.
Well, I haven't gotten anything.
Hey, check this out.
What did you say?
It was a weird response. It was like, I manage everything through Google, so let me know if I'm missing something. It's like really weird.
Well, basically, I want the agendas, and so does Rin, and so does somebody else.
Okay, so here. That's what we sent him. If you scroll down, you'll see his response, and then my counter.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. I don't get it. So I just...
Email set up for... So do we all.
Yeah, and we literally made the list for him.
All you have to do is update that into whatever
I know.
the next one.
And so I sent him, look, you know...
Did you send the agenda after you sent him this?
No, he sent it before.
Okay, so
he sent it on like Sunday.
Maybe that's the thing, because it's like... This we only made yesterday.
Right. So this will hold for all future meetings if Eli remembers to change it. And I'll text him Saturday before he sends out the agenda and be like, hey, just wanted to make sure that you updated your email list. So that, as I said in my second message, you're on there, Bryn's on there, and that other girl is off there, Lily. So. Sweet.
Are there senators going to like sit down?
Yeah, this is meeting. We're leaning on tables. I think you may be this outfit seating, which is here.
I can sit on this.
You can see the screen in the... No, you
can't see. Look at that. You can't see the screen.
Do you think you can? Maybe that's an option.
It doesn't make any sense why it would display that.
I want to just like sit on the floor, maybe. We're going to run through the beginning of our agenda, so why don't you grab a spot somewhere, whether it be sitting or standing, and we're going to get going in just a minute.
It looks what?
Overexposed.
Well, you mean, wait, what?
The screen looks overexposed.
Yeah, that's not that bad. I don't think it's bad for our purposes. That it's
But
like,
nobody can see that.
right, you think I'm going to tell the kid?
Because we're going to have activities on the
Right, but no one's watching this, is what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah, he didn't appear in the directory, which is weird. Stay tuned.
Are you still looking for it? I can do that.
Looking for what?
For his number? Oh, you did? Okay. Did you text him or something?
Yeah.
Okay. Is he gonna come?
See about that right now.
All right, we're going to get started. The regular weekly meeting is set. The Student Government Association is now in session. This meeting is currently being recorded live. Roll call. Genevieve McCarthy, Amarachi, Will DeTesso, Billy Liptrot, Luna, Randy. Do I see a motion to approve last week's minutes? Seconded. All in favor? Approved. Executive reports. President Lund.
Hi everyone. Thank you for joining us in this weird session today. I'm sorry I'm like standing over you. I'm really excited. Karen Harp, who is my FSUN professor with Micah, my current advisor, and one of the most wonderful people. I'm really glad you get to like meet her today. She's the highest rated professor on Rate My Professor. Only 5 stars. She's a really wonderful person, has won a lot of awards, so I'm excited that you all get to meet her. I'm going to run through, at Cabinet I ran through 14 things, but we'll run through just a few things here. On Sunday we sponsored a tailgate, which for the ski team, which we didn't talk about last Tuesday because that's a recent thing that happened. But that was really successful, and we allocated $200 to the ski team. Also, I met with Dean McLaughlin twice last week to talk about the Res Life survey. So you'll be happy to know that those results are out, and he's going to try to figure out how to bring it to us first. So that should be coming up in about a month, that he's going to like make a presentation to give. Other things that we're working on, we have the SORT and SGA dinner later this semester, as we talked about later this month. And then also we are co-sponsoring a Women in Leadership panel, which has recently come about, but I'm really excited. We're working with Provost Tux and Nikki Moore in athletics. So it's going to be like asking different staff members, women staff members, how they got to where they are. Yeah, so I'm also working on like green co-sponsoring events with Dewey later this semester, or later this week, and I'm working on the bicentennial time capsule as well. So projects that you've heard before, but I talk about them more later because we want to get to Karen. But please give her your attention today. She's really special, and I like her a lot. So.
This is just picking us up.
Thank you, Jenny. Is there a representative from the BAC?
Hello all. BAC met this Sunday. I'll just scroll down there. We had a lot of meetings, allocations, trivia club we funded, internet gamers. A lot of the like prices that have gone down is just like adjustments in their budget, other things that they saw that were wrong. Spanish Debate Society is going to Panama City, super exciting. They ended up pulling a lot of funding from other groups, so they got it down, so we were really excited to fund them. Yeah, any questions?
No questions about BAC funding.
Brown bags is just, if anyone has any questions there, they started advertising before they had received funding, so they're now on sanction from the BAC for 2 weeks, so you can't advertise them before you receive funding, which is a shame.
Okay, thank you, JJ. Okay, is there anyone from the SOC who has any report from Dewey? If not, I'll say I met with Dewey today, and we just talked about the direction of the SOC moving forward. Also want to say the reason Dewey is not here or ever here is because he has a lab. It's not because he just doesn't show up. So just start with that. Lucy.
Okay, so a few things from me. I just got like updated, so now I can edit the Constitution and bylaws. So the bill from last week should be updated in the bylaws really soon. There needs a couple things to happen, and then I'm going to meet with the election commissioners, and we're going to get the dates all together for presidential elections for next year. So those should be coming at you pretty soon. And lastly, we still have some thank you notes to write from the event, and it's really important that we get them done. I'm going to sit in the library cafe for like several hours tomorrow, and I will send in the group me. So if you're around and you want to write some thank you notes, that'd be really awesome. I will swipe you food. I have a meal plan. So please come, because we really want to get them done and get them out.
What time?
I will send in the group me when I'm there. Don't worry, I'll update you.
Do you have them on you right now?
Yes, I do. I also have some on me right now, so if you want to stay after, I have them like literally addressed already. So you just grab a pen, write a thank you note. It'd be great. If everyone wrote one, we get 40 done in like maybe 10 minutes.
Okay, let's try to do that at the end of this meeting, and we'll remind it again. Luke, Secretary of Campus Affairs.
Hey everyone, hope you're having a good week so far. A few things from me. First of all, I just met with the governance boards like an hour ago. We had a good conversation about what each individual student member has been up to, and then sort of more broadly, how we can make the governance board student positions more effective and how we can better integrate them into SGA. So we got a lot of good feedback, got to introduce the new members, so that was nice. So that went well. Secondly, Jenny and I met with Melissa from the Hamilton Coalition last Friday, which spawned two great ideas. The first is sort of like a database for service rather than having an SGA day of service. Well, we're hoping to create some sort of database where residents of Hamilton or business owners and so forth can submit volunteer projects that they can use help with from Colgate students. And it could be anything from somebody like needs their hedges trimmed when the snow melts in the spring to like a business owner needs a video made and they don't really know how to make it. So members of SGA can lend their expertise or lend a hand, just help out, volunteer. So I'm looking to figure out how to like set up the infrastructure for that because I'm not super well versed in technology and stuff like that. Melissa and I can take care of like gathering projects from the community and like connecting communities or connecting projects to people. But the actual like infrastructure, like would it be like Google Forms? Would it be like some sort of database, something like that? If anybody has any interest in helping out with that project, please let me know. And we can get that up and running hopefully by the end of the month. And then secondly, we're hoping to start a dialogue centering around like binge drinking and drug use on campus, because we heard from her that SOMAC has been telling her that like BACs have been like higher than ever recently, and people are like functioning better with higher BACs and like terrifying stuff. And so obviously that's bad and it's a cultural problem. So we should like have a dialogue about how we can fix that culture, and you know, whether it's creating more alternatives to drinking or more education. I don't know what the answer is, but we're bringing together like the new leadership of Shaw Wellness, the chaplain's office, dean of the college division, all those different sort of stakeholders on campus, bringing them together to talk about what we can do. So if anybody has any questions about any of that, they do.
Well, the student athletes, like recently we did this workshop with this professor from University, and I felt it very effective, like the way she approached the whole entire conversation about like, alcohol and like, how we're drinking. So I feel like it's bad to be interested in using her because I thought that it's been the most effective.
Yeah, that sounds good. Was that Steve Chenard? Did he arrange that workshop? He's like the head trainer. I think he, I'll already talk to him. I think he can, but thanks for that feedback. Anything else? Any other questions?
Great, thank you, Luke. Here we have a new report this week, the Director of Communications.
What's up, everyone? Very excited to present here for my first time at Senate. Just to go through the updates quickly here, you all should have gotten a notification about our internal SGA calendar, so you can now see when all of the committees are meeting, when all of the main meetings are, and all the other events that we have going on, so that you don't have to miss a single meeting. We also got an inquiry today in our email account from the Director of Purchasing, who wants to open up a conversation about the Colgate cruiser routes. If anybody would like to work with me on that to make a better route, come see me after the meeting. I've also been meeting with the communications office in Merrill House to work on the 200.colgate.edu website to make sure that our content is up on there so that viewers at large, the Colgate community at large, can see what we're up to, so that's a lot of fun. I met with President Casey last week to finalize the State of the University address. We're looking to have that March 20th, right after spring break. Hall of Presidents, plated dinner, just like you requested last week. So stay tuned for that. We'll have about half of the time as a presentation, half the time as questions and answers, so we actually can have some constructive dialogue with Casey about his vision for this place. Going forward, we're meeting with ITS next week to plan some updates for the live stream and for sustainable printing. And following that, we're going to be sending out summaries to the Maroon News for publishing everything that we've been doing here in Senate to get the word out to the broader community. And we're working on a transparency survey to check in with the broader student body about how we're doing and how they feel about SGA. Any questions? Thanks, everyone.
If you were someone who expressed interest in talking about cruisers, definitely talk to Micah after the meeting, because that's a good opportunity to make a change to the cruiser schedules and the routes for some things. Okay, on my end, I won't talk that much. Next week, we're going to be having the Code Director come just introduce himself very briefly. His name is Jared Waddles. He graduated from Colgate in 2005. He's just going to introduce himself so that we can be acquainted with him. He's a new resource on campus, and the Code obviously does a lot of great work. What else do I have to say? Obviously, we have Professor Karen Hart here today, and she's going to give a training. She's going to work with us, try to get us to, collaborate, think creatively about how we can come up with new ideas and projects to help benefit the campus. So hopefully you all engage with her, and I will obviously be part of that as well. So looking forward to that. Let's move into committee reports, and then we'll get right to that. So AAC, Micah.
I feel like I was just up here, right? We finalized the faculty office hours on the website. We are finalizing our faculty email database, so we're going to send out an email to the faculty asking them for their syllabi, since they've been a little hesitant to comply with us for the department chairs. And we're also raising a new initiative that Jenny told me about today with AAC, where we're going to be having some dialogue about the core. And we've scheduled an agenda item for the next board meeting to ensure that professors would actually be motivated to put their syllabi on instead of it just having to be coming from us. But that's it for me. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Micah. EAC.
Hi. So we're still still just working on getting interviews scheduled and pairing people with photographers so they can go interview people for Humans Madison County project. And then,
yeah, and also we decided rather than like hassling a lot of businesses to try to get more gate card access, we're just going to advertise the businesses that do have gate card access because there's like quite a few of them. So like this week or probably more like next week, we're going to make a poster with like did you know, like here's all the places you can use your gate card. So yeah.
Thank you, EAC.
Hi, so originally we were going to have 2 bills this week. One was the grad cord bill, but it turns out that we already have enough for the number of seniors that are in the SGA. If you don't know what grad cords, it's literally the seniors who are in student government get a graduation cord if you're in good standing at the end of the semester. But we do have our State of the Association bill, which we'll go over later, and then hopefully we'll have 2 more bills next week. Any questions? One is to have like a point person that's going to give senators a warning if they're racking up absences and are about to lose their voting rights. So basically just like, hey, you're 1 absence from losing your voting rights. I think Bryn suggested that. I don't know if he's here. And then the other one is defining what is meant by executive, because in the Constitution, a lot of times there appears like something executive, and it's not clear if it's president, vice president, or executive branch. So those are the 2 bills.
I have a question. I think it's technically in now, I think it's either the secretary and it's both the secretary and the parliamentarian's responsibility to let you know if you're about to lose your voting rights. So is this like to make it a new position or to clarify that?
No. So what it is that you guys notify when they lose their voting rights.
Oh, okay.
But what this would do is that, like Matt would let a senator know that like, hey, you've had 3 proxy absences. If you have 1 more proxy absence, then publicly in Senate, we will let you know that you have lost your voting rights. So it's just like a more individualized communication for one. And it's just another warning, I guess, because that was requested. Yeah. Any questions? All right, thank you.
Ms. Kira. SAT.
So most people we reached out to haven't gotten back to us. The cruiser schedule director didn't get back to us, so we'll probably be working with Micah on figuring that out. Eli had a 2-tier system idea, which I guess we'll probably talk about the next meeting because there's already a lot on the agenda. And 2 of us are meeting with ResLife to talk about dorm imaging. Yeah. Any questions?
No. Wait, so you got the meeting set up?
Yeah.
Awesome, great. Okay, that's really great. Okay, and then Dewey's not here, so we'll see. Okay, yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So basically, our biggest project right now is the fact that when planning for spring party weekends coming up, basically a new thing that they're doing in planning is having out a lot of individual student organizations and giving them funding so they can host their own events throughout the weekend. So that the idea is that's going to be more focused on committees and really giving. But visibility to communities that we already have on campus and giving them the opportunity to play a role in the weekend. So really our goal right now is just make sure that people are aware that of the opportunity that already exists, and we're putting that out there, getting that underway as planning goes forward.
Great. Okay, and then last Mark.
Yeah, I'll make this brief. Senior ball tickets being sold at Coop this week. Make sure you buy them coming March 1st would be a good time. Juniors, they just had the tailgate last Saturday for the women's hockey game. It was a great time. So we're working on something else. I'm not quite sure what it is because we have a meeting tomorrow. Sophomores, after a lot of hassle, we finally got the shirts. They should be ready for pickup tomorrow because whole long story. And also, decorations coming up March 1st. Please don't forget, we're going to have a small event. Should be tabling somewhere to remind people that they need to declare a major by March 1st. And then first year's working on a couple of projects. Nothing's really set in stone, so I can't really promote anything for that yet. And I'm also going to use this platform to give a small plug. SBW, event requests. They're due March 1st. Please get them in, because if you don't get them in by March 1st, there will be barely an SBW. So, yeah, if you're a member of a Greek organization, any other community, all of the student leaders got emails about how to apply and who is on the committee, so if they have any questions, they can reach out to one of us. But yeah, whether you're hosting a private event or a public event requesting funding, anything that you want to be officially part of the SBW schedule, you do need to get an application in by March 1st. Please, for the love of God, do it, otherwise there will barely be an SBW.
Yeah, so just to echo that, in case you missed the memo, this year SBW is going to be more student-driven, and students are expected to be bringing the events forward and requesting money. If you're a member of a group, if you know friends that are leaders of the group, it doesn't matter, tell them about this if they don't know, or nudge them to bring anyone, whether it be an artist, a speaker, or just any sort of
a small event, just like host a barbecue with some friends.
Right,
If you're
yeah,
on like a year-old team and you want to like have some friends over for a barbecue, go for it. Anything.
Yeah, questions?
Wait, what's like the main difference like going on? Like there's no like big like performance?
Yeah, no, almost all the events besides a couple of brunches and the kickoff events are entirely being organized, planned, and executed by students, so we really get programming that students want to see instead of just some of the administrations, a few students saying like, hey, this would be fun. It's really students saying, this is what I want to see, this is an artist I want, or this is like just a low-key barbecue or something I want to host. So yeah, no, it's being almost entirely driven by student organizations, by groups on campus, hosting the kind of events they want to see. So that means it does really depend on those applications by March 1st.
Yeah, so in the past year, the school has put on like a big concert, like a and so this year they're not doing that. But so the alternative to that would be if I was in Apple Pi Sigma, I could like put together a proposal and say, you know, I would like to, or if I was in Frisbee Club, it doesn't really matter whether I was making up a date. Yeah.
My only question is, if you're in a student organization that doesn't have like a designated space, how do you go about?
You can, I mean, there are plenty of facilities on campus that you can rent out other games, like there's no field or something, or yeah, no, that's part of the, yeah, no, there's plenty of opportunities to rent out space on campus, so you can find what's available.
Something like the Hall of Friends, it comes in. I think the school is willing to work.
Yeah, exactly.
Any other questions? Great. Okay, with that, I'm going to yield the floor over to Professor Hart, and hopefully we will all enjoy this journey.
All right, well, thanks everyone. Jenny contacted me to ask me to come. I'm in the geology department. I'm also in some company studies. No, they're not really directly related. It's a long story. We're not going to do either of those today. I, as Jenny and Micah and a few other people in the room, like Luke can tell you, and Evelyn too, I am a big fan of trying to get people to think outside the box. And so we're going to spend about an hour thinking outside the box for you, for Senate, to try and get you into a space where you can come up with the best possible, most creative ideas you can. You clearly have lots of ideas and lots of things going on. Maybe we can push you a little further. And the key to that is being able to loosen up and to kind of have fun playing with it and not worrying that you're getting the right answers or coming up with the most logical ideas, but instead coming up with the most outrageous ideas you can, because at the kernel of those outrageous ideas, there's often the best idea that you can come up with. One of the ways we've been doing this is using design thinking, which is a methodology you may have heard of. It comes mostly out of the Stanford Design School. It's used in business, it's used in design, obviously it's used in basically the scientific method, lots of ways of approaching it. We're going to use a tiny piece of that and some techniques from that. And I'm not here alone, I'm here as a team. I'm here with the newly minted Innovation Fellows. It's a group on campus that has come out of the design classes that we teach, that are facilitating and helping people in a kind of consultative role to come up with ideas when they need them. So we're working with CIA, we're working with, in this case, this workshop. We have some other workshops coming up in other venues, etc. So I'm going to introduce you to Jacqueline Stern, Risaka Yang, and Katie Weber. They're going to be running this with me. Basically, they're going to be doing most of it, so give them a round. So what we're going to be doing is focusing on one single question and letting your brain sort of go where they want to with this, which is how might Senate have a more sustained positive impact at Colgate? Nothing's off the table. When we think about this, we're going to work you through some routines to get you into a space where you can think in more creative ways. And obviously to get there, we have to loosen up a little. So I'm going to turn you over to Jacqueline.
So before we get to all the fun ideas, everyone up, on your feet, we're going to get moving, a little warm up. So the goal of this exercise is you and a partner are going to count to the number 3 as fast as you can, alternating between the numbers. Katie and the partner are going to demonstrate for you. Right? 1, 2, 3. And when you fail, because you will fail, you celebrate it and embrace it, because that's part of this process. Is we're not going to put ourselves down. We're going to keep going. Nothing is too outrageous. Nothing is too weird. So
find a partner.
Everyone, find a partner, and let's do it.
And start counting to 3.
I need a partner.
You don't need to constantly build off of each other's ideas, but we want to make sure that you don't put each other's down. Any idea is a good idea. There are no such things as bad ideas. So first we're going to demonstrate with an example previous ELA and the question we're going to discuss is how might we improve the legacies course to make it more engaging.
So we're just illustrating the brainstorm process. And these guys know how to do it. That's why we're taking them up. Emma, go, go, go.
Improving the legacies process. So we are going to use more non-Western text.
Go to a wall. Use this Post-it. So anytime you get an idea, you write it down. Big, fat Sharpie. We'll give you all Sharpies. So write your idea down as quickly as you can and you slap it on the wall. It's all about being energetic. So they are doing with a sample question that Risako just explained, how might we make legacies more engaging? As an example of how this works, so go.
Non-Western texts.
Yes, and more texts from Eastern and African traditions.
Yes, and more money for the department.
Yes, and everybody takes a trip to Rome to see where Plato wrote stuff.
Yes, and we interview experts.
Yeah, and more events related to the course. Yes, and everyone dresses up as Plato and reenacts the cave.
Yes, and we do skits for every book.
Yes, we class outside all the time.
Yes, and no desks.
Yes, and we read everything in Latin.
Yes. How does that make it more engaging? Oh, see? So what I just did is what you don't do. Okay?
Exactly.
You don't put down or critique the ideas. You just build them up. I just do it because it's my country. Right?
Yes, and every class is team taught.
Bingo. Bingo. So the idea is fast, rapid fire, quick ideas, inspiration from each other, and never shutting someone down like I did to my
Karen.
Okay, so send a rep or come up, and everyone should have a Post-it and a Sharpie. Grab one, go back to your wall, please.
Everyone was going outside. Oh, the live stream is there.
You're right in it. Yeah, there you go.
Do I say hi or something?
Everyone got a Sharpie and a Post-it? Stack Post-its. If you don't have a Sharpie, Post-it, you have one. Y'all are good? Yes.
If you have forgotten what the how might we of this brainstorm session is, it's taped up on the walls, so please look at that again if you forget what you're creating ideas for. So we're going to get the brainstorm started. It should be lively. We should be walking around here a lot of places and always yes and. Alright, you guys can get started.
No ideas,
Yes, and
Yes.
I feel that too. I'll just take a table. So yeah. Good work, man. Own your ideas. Perfect. Here. Everyone start.
yes.
All right.
Yes. We require everybody.
I'd have the WRC publishers.
Join the How was I going to give it? Never mind.
Yes.
Some kind of link to the comments. Like,
Do we actually put it on that?
yes, like a Senate. Is there a Senate rep? I don't know if it do. they're so keen on the comments. So we're what did you do?
Yes, I'm half the senators like they were looking for something every week.
Fabulous. Right now. It's awesome. It's an awesome idea. How about having rap at the gym? I bet you get some awesome ideas. Right.
Those would be honest ideas.
That's the thing.
Yes, and we meet at 7 a.m. at the gym and do exercise.
We can add that.
Is it about quantity, not the quality?
Half set up like in an open space, like a academic board. They use it. It's like let's invite more.
One of the things that we're going to do here is, because it gets hard to brainstorm after a few minutes, doesn't it? You're like, yeah, I can't think of more things. We're going to give you constraints. We're going to give you some constraints. So we're going to give you some absurd and some really logical constraints to help you focus your ideas. So you want to keep the how might we question in mind. You're still going after how to give Senate more of an impact, positive impact, but you can go absurd with these ideas. So we're going to give you the first constraint. Whatever you suggest must require no physical space. So any ideas you have that do not. So for instance, driving around in golf carts to deliver you to Senate meetings, maybe that does require physical space, so that one wouldn't apply. But for instance, sending out a really annoying email every 10 minutes about what Senate does to the whole student body would require no physical space. Not saying you have to do that one, but. So go for it. And we're going to switch to new ones every minute or two.
Yes, and we upgrade our screen.
Yes, I'm going to start Livestream more accessible.
Still write it down. Space, it's okay. This is just to get you out of Alright, new constraint. It must involve the Colgate C.
Just the letters?
Yes, and we get badges.
Yes, everyone will see.
We could put like dots in
Yes, and
No, just in just this one, yeah. That would be wild. It would get really hard really fast. Alright, do constraints. It engages everyone on campus. And the constraints don't pile up with the new one for each one. Don't add them up together.
Instead of having these face-to-face parties. Still have to pay for these
It must cost at least $1 million.
Speaker coming in. We had Biden come on speak. It could be $1 million.
Next constraint, it encourages collaboration between students, staff, and faculty.
We have all university
No, like the rules where you have to That's something we should start. What?
I was about to say that. My little I feel like every week we discuss what as
Yes, and if you graduate, you can still be eligible to be part of SGA.
Encourages awesome people to apply to Colgate.
more
Yeah, we do a national,
Yes, I'm SGA proud.
Makes this guy nervous.
Yes.
go back to old social policy. I like that. Yes, and more.
What's important about
Is his dog named Coefficient? Is it the mascot? Yeah.
Yes, and the class takes great job.
Okay, remember, you're still trying to answer the question about how to have more of an impact on campus. So don't just torture Casey. Try to find a way to use Casey to have more of an impact on campus.
Alright, new constraint engages the Hamilton community.
More impact for SGA through engaging the Hamilton community.
Yes, and the mayor has to come to SGA meetings and we have
We invite some Hamilton Central School kids to campus and you show them how government works.
We had that Native American festival.
That's a great idea.
Is there a food court?
Yes.
The what?
Community garden. This is not a particularly good idea in the sense that So this would actually not be great.
Have volunteers from
Because I bet you, they see you in action. They'll be way more impressed than they are. If you invited them to instead of them
Can be implemented in a week.
Cecilia.
Yes.
You know, just do good part. Yeah. Oh wow, is this the live stream? Oh, it's so live, so live. And I really feel like it's in such clear definition. It is. This camera's better than we use like normally. It is a little too nice if I do sit for how many of you can see my face very clearly?
It involves the Colgate alumni. Students, not their money.
We should do that.
On top of that, they have like a software connection thing, specifically for you and along with Judge
Yes, and we can design.
Okay, everyone. That was a lot. Yeah, like really good. Now we're gonna take stock of all your ideas, and as a group, figure out a way that you want to sort them. You can group them based on similarities, or I don't know, whatever seems like the best way to do it for the ideas you came up with in your group.
So for instance, just to rip off what Jacqueline said, if you have a whole bunch of ideas that involve the same theme, like connecting with people over food, or inviting people to Senate meetings, or whatever it happens to be, put those all together in any system so that you can try to reduce the complexity of your ideas to a smaller number of topics. So start looking at them. Don't reject anything yet. Just sort them out.
Oh, yeah. That can be I guess. Maybe something like making SGA structural changes. Yeah. Alright, so section number is get rid of the recap. Should we do like change to the schools? Yeah.
Making units for probably like one or two. Yeah, it's two people. One of them is me on my laptop, and the other is probably
And like this, the cruiser one, like all it's like just the white people. Yeah.
right, everybody, take the next minute to finish sorting your ideas.
Now we want you guys to pick your favorite one. It doesn't have to be one specific sticky note, but you have to have one piece of idea that you can present to everyone in a short amount of time. We're going to get to that later. You can combine as many as you want, but make sure you have something to say about it. Okay, we're going to move on to the next step. Sorry, I don't think you guys really heard. So we're going to pick your group's favorite. You don't have to stick to one sticky note, but it has to be one idea that you can present in a very short amount of time. Because that's going to be what's good.
So you might blend them into groups, perhaps. Who knows? You have a few minutes to take this through the process.
You'll listen to us sit down for a day, afterwards they practice and then see your party like after. I feel like we have some good just actually. Realistic. But I'm also not for it. No, I said I might use and put like under this idea of like the shape of pretty much talking about yeah, and then we so we're making more stuff so I know like sometimes just like something where it's like short and like it's like SGA event will start off with SGA meetings in a more informal setting. I think it's a good like opening up. I think the ideas that I like is like update of maybe do like end of the first semester. So give them like semester
We just finished.
I'm doing that. We could have like sheets of paper where like similar to citing we could write down and like put the box and people like this works in place.
Do y'all have your favorite? know how much you love talking about that. Yeah.
30 seconds left. Get your ideas together.
Alright. Everyone, here's the plan. Back once if you can hear me. Back twice if you can hear me. Okay. What we're going to do now is share our ideas. We're not going to like hold hands and sing through my iron. I think we're just going to share our ideas. So what I want you to do is gather your group together. Bring your sticky note. That's kind of already got.
Just take a photo real quick.
Oh yeah, good idea.
Of all your stickies.
Take a photo. Thank you.
You don't want to lose all the good ideas.
Take a quick photo. Send them all to the jerkers. Then we'll share. That way none of them get lost. You can take several photos. Fill it in.
Are you taking the photo?
It's a short video.
Right.
Okay, when you're done, we're going to make one giant circle, but stick with your group. So when you're done, just kind of move it a little. Bring your favorite post-it that you're going to talk about, or know it in your head if you need it. We have more time. Okay, come around, come around. So here's what we're going to do. Circle up so everyone's focused in the middle. Come on in. You can all hear each other well. Everyone good? All right, we're going to hear from every group. So you can choose a spokesperson. We're going to hear your idea. You have like a minute to tell us your idea. And we're going to go to the next one. So that we all get your favorite distilled ideas out on the table. Mike's group starts.
All right, so we picked two, so we'll do 30 seconds each. We thought that we should reclassify SGA so that it is no longer under CLSI, but that it is a part of the university governance structure itself, giving us more power.
Also today, students to alumni would share pictures, kind of like our day in the life, but less informative. Or more informative. Right. Right. Cool. All right. Let's go around this way. Gentlemen?
Our favorite was coop expansion. I guess speaks for itself. It's like,
Tell us more.
if you have a bigger coop, more food.
What do you envision here?
I guess just like more seating, because I think there's a lot of times during each day where the coop can't handle the traffic. So maybe something to fix that. I don't know, like the feasibility, like if there's room for it.
We're not worried about that.
Okay.
We're just going for idea generation. Good work. Okay, next.
Okay, our favorite we chose was communication because we thought it engaged the most number of members of the Colgate community beyond. So some examples is we started out with like a flyer of SGA happenings, and then we wanted to be more sussed. So like displaying that on the Coop TV, or like putting it on the Colgate Insta story, or like a report of what we're up to. What other ones? SGA representative on the board of trustees, kind of out there, but worth it. We wanted to do like SGA notifications through the Colgate app, adding Senate to the Colgate calendar so that more people know where we are and what we're doing, faculty listings at SGA. Okay,
So the theme of that was
Communication.
more open
Widespread.
communication.
More open communication between students, faculty, extended time management.
But also helping people know that like SGA exists.
Gotcha. So
Visibility and
raising awareness.
transparency.
So it's a PR campaign done here.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Hello. Ours is similarly a PR of sorts. We wanted to focus on getting students engaged with student government, and part of that starts with prospective students. So we want to make an SGA recruitment video.
Like a sorority recruitment video.
And it's going to be really fun. We're going to be the first auditorium, we're all going to be wearing courses. And it's going to be like, part of it's going to be like a fun video about how cool we are, and then it's also going to have things like what we do, who we are, like some things that we've done, like initiatives. And we want to get like admissions counselors to take it on the road with them when they do their like speechifying to prospective students, and
alumni would love it.
Yeah, alumni would love it. And we were also thinking of having like an SGA pre-orientation of sorts, so people like, if they're really passionate about student government, they get to hang out with us.
I've read a lot of student applications, potential student applications. There's a lot of student government. So that's okay. Awesome. Next group. Let everyone have their moment.
So we basically have the idea of making Senate more open, so maybe changing the location so like more people can see it rather than having to rely on a live stream, or making it less formal at meetings and having to say motions and all that stuff, and just get more collaborative.
It's a little more accessible SGA.
Maybe like have a couple of meetings with like the academic board in the open, so like people could come and we have like food and stuff and other activities, and like aside some suggestions kind of a thing. So like people while they are having fun, they suggest like things that we want to see on campus. So yeah.
So we hear more from the institution.
Yeah.
Sweet.
We were thinking that there should be a dining hill, like down the hill. So maybe Donovan's could be an option for like more of a dining hall sort of thing to give more people that live down the hill an option.
Great.
We did, we had like an alumni theme going on. We kind of wanted to just do like more SGA alumni like filtered through. We were talking about SGA tents at reunion. I don't really know if that's a thing already, but if it isn't,
I
that'd
don't
be great.
think it is.
Yeah, and then like alumni dinners, junior reconnections. I think it's like,
Oh, that's cool.
like if you have a sophomore connection, like you get reconnected. And then like an alumni newsletter about their time here and like what's different.
So like
what's not.
SGA alumni or any alumni?
Or I guess it could be anybody really, but like they could talk about the times and like how it's changed and like how you progress forward.
And advice, suggestions?
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
So you mean in terms of, well, we have one that's like more of like a positive impact and the other one for sustained impact.
It's all good.
So our first one was to do diversity and inclusion trainings, and like we would all get trained, and then we would train the faculty. So that was like an idea that we had. And then also to build a house for SGA. So if we have one on campus, yeah.
They also have that. Yep. Let's go. Okay, over here.
Our idea was to collaborate more with the Hamilton people. So what we thought was to collaborate with the business in Hamilton. For example, if someone's taking econ classes, instead of finding an internship outside, they could meet people in Hamilton and they participate in the business. So they could learn as well as communicate with the community.
And the business learns more about what
Exactly. And also we had a jug night with Brian Casey.
I totally get to do that one. Okay, over last group.
Yeah, so we kind of said something similar to that.
Okay, go.
Like, yeah, it's connecting more with the Hamilton community. Kind of one specific thing was maybe see if we can get different stores downtown on a meal plan type of thing.
That's fun. Yeah, I've been thinking for that. I mean, I don't know the economic plan. It would certainly bring business. Fabulous. Does anyone have any other idea that they think needs to get thrown into the mix other than the pictures that we sent to Dirkers? That they want to talk about? How'd that go? Did you come out, you happy with some of your ideas? There were some great ones out out there, and a lot that didn't even get mentioned that were really, really good. What we'd like you to do, since we're not implementing them today, that's going to be Jenny's job, right? What we're going to ask you to do now is, on your way out on this table, you'll see there's 3 post-its. One says I like, one says I wish, and one says I wanted. You have more business to do. Where's your mind?
Yeah.
Okay, when you go to leave, or maybe can we take 2 minutes to do this now?
Yeah.
Awesome. Using the post-its and the Sharpies you have, if there was an idea you had that you really loved, or you heard that you really loved that we didn't talk about, stick it up there. Maybe you set it under I like, or I wish we could have a monorail to downtown, or whatever it happens to be. Or I wish we could implement this idea that I've heard. Any of your thoughts about what you've heard here for ideas? Take 2 minutes, stick the post-it down there, they're all going to go to Jenny. Okay? And then you'll resume your meeting with Eli. Good? Okay.
Can we all thank Karen, please?
So, any other?
Yeah, just so that like if people decide to write them at the end of the meeting, that way like they're not like running.
Yeah. I can do that first.
Really appreciate it.
So if we could have the principal authors come to the floor to present the bill.
How'd you let her?
Okay, many of you are familiar with the State of the Association, and many of you are not. The State of the Association is an event that is occurred basically every semester, and it is supposed to be an event that's open to the entire public, and it's basically a place where all members of SGA are gathered in one space and talk about what they've done throughout the semester. But in the past, it really has only been attended by SGA members, and probably only because it's mandatory. So we, members of the cabinet, GAC, CLSI, think that it would be best to not have the State of the Association in the same way that it has been, and instead provide something that's a bit more flexible. So for instance, incorporating it into the CLSI Leadership Award Ceremony. That's what it's called, right? That's what it's called. Yeah, do you want to add more?
So basically what we're doing is, besides just getting rid of this whole section B where it creates this whole like procedure about like the speaker says this, the vice president says that, it's a lot more flexibility, and we basically just lay out the whole point of it where it's the duty to report on like the agenda of what we did during the whole year. And we also changed the procedure for what happens if you don't go. So seniors won't receive a graduation cord, and anyone else who isn't allowed to run for a semester, 2 more semesters, or really be involved in the government if they don't go. So it's also a way to make sure that people end up going to it. But that's basically it. It's a pretty simple bill.
In terms of like people not showing up, you have a policy there that states like if someone is like ill or has like a lab or something like that, is there any policy there currently, or?
I mean, there's like it always has been that proxy absences don't count, but I mean like you have an excused absence, like that's legitimate. Yes, Glenn?
What will consider legitimate? Most absences is up to the government secretary.
Yeah, treated basically the same way as every other.
I remember like passing the bill, we passed it last semester, in which we talked about like there's no concept of like an excused absence anymore. Yeah. So we just had like this concept of proxy absence and like then just simply unexcused absence. Because like it could be really subjective to decide like this is an excused absence, like this is valid and this is invalid. So we just like increase the number of like proxy absences.
Well, this is different than like the whole absence procedure during actual Senate meetings, given that this is more of like a ceremony. So it's not really like, oh, you know, they have this many proxies, you know, mark them off. This is basically, if you don't have a legitimate reason to be absent, which is something at the discretion of the parliamentarian, it should basically be reserved for things that you literally can't get out of whatsoever, or if you're super sick, then, you know, you have to face the consequences.
Yeah, it does specify like unless there's an extenuating circumstance such as a legitimate academic excuse. So like, I guess that does kind of define what gets you go back.
I mean, wouldn't that be like deferred on like, for some people like if they have a paper due the next day, like that would count as legitimate excuse.
Well, I mean,
for some people like
no, I would.
term or something. Like,
yeah.
Like how do you define legitimate in this case?
Like you have a lab during that time.
Okay.
Or you have a test during that time.
Okay.
I don't know if you're friendly amendment or not, but I'd rather we look at calling it something of a student government ceremony, because the idea of this was to invite people beyond CLSI, which is the sororities, the Go groups, chapel groups, to recognize student organizations outside, above and beyond CLSI.
Okay. Yeah, it's friendly.
So where's
oh, was this what was at the top where it was like CLSI and leadership? Yeah. So
I don't have any proposed names, but I think this is something about celebrating SGA, all the breadth of student governments across, student organizations across campus.
Changing the CLSI Leadership Awards ceremony, you want to change that name?
Yeah, I don't have proposed names instead, but I would like to try to recognize the breadth of student organizations across campus that are sponsored by student government.
So do you want to just make it student leadership awards?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, Cole.
The other thing I'd like to do on the is currently it says that we don't, like, if someone does not show up, that's like, I understand there needs to be a consequence, but having two semesters, the fact that we already can't fill those positions in the first place, like, having people who want those positions that are able to run seems like just adding insult for that. Like, I understand there needs to be, like, some kind of thing, so maybe, like, losing voting rights, or something not as harsh.
Well, it's at the end of a semester, so you can't really vote anything else after, and you would have to run again anyways. So, I mean, but if you lose voting rights, for example, then why even run for Senate again next semester? So, we deliberate over it, and we figured that there has to be some gravity to the punishment, and we couldn't really think of too many other ways besides that, just preventing any participation.
Any other questions?
Yeah, can I ask a question? So when you say here that the president will decide who speaks, it can be one speaker on behalf of the student association and multiple speakers, the president will speak.
The idea was to keep it flexible, but hopefully just one speaker.
So you intend first.
Well, it's flexible, so I think select We'll say select one speaker.
Okay.
So they kind of different.
And also, like, if you're already doing it in the leadership awards ceremony, like, that's a whole thing in of itself, so I don't really want one.
I'm a little confused. Could you do what kind of ceremony are you wanting?
Alright, yes, I mean, we're freshmen, we don't go too much here.
So, do you want me to speak more about the State of the Association or the like leadership awards ceremony?
The ceremony.
Okay, so is this the same thing that's happened in the past? Okay, so I went to it once. And basically it was like a dinner, and there were, they had, what's the goodness? Well, for one, there was like voting for different organizations and like types, so you could vote like what has been the most impactful new organization on campus. So it was celebrating organizations across different parts of campus and doing different types of things. So I don't remember how long it was either, but like at least an hour, so that's what I mean when it's like a whole event in and of itself. But then it's just like by incorporating State Association into that, it's just a way for us to have student government be a part of that celebration of leadership on campus, and then also a better way for us to convey what we do to the student body, because there will be more leaders from across campus at that event.
Yeah, so that's replacing the old State of the Association address, which you will have to go to anyways.
Anything else?
Are people confused, or basically what's happening is we used to have our own dinner. We used to be, well, we still technically have our own dinner, where all SGA presents on what SGA did. What this bill is saying is we're not going to do that, but we're going to speak during a larger student organization dinner.
How long would this take in comparison to the original State of Association?
Like how long would the SGA portion take? I couldn't say for certain, but because we're eliminating, saying like each one of these people's getting an address and we're putting it down to essentially one speaker, it should be like 5 minutes summarizing what the SGA's main accomplishments have been, and then there is, of course, the swearing in of the new president.
So it'd be significantly less time. lower the button.
Questions? Motions?
Motion to vote.
Is that seconded? It is. Let's see any other motions. Seeing none. All in favor of motion to vote? Passes. We're not going to do deliveries.
I couldn't use hands because I was
Right, yeah, let's do hands.
those in favor of the bill. But actually, those who are not in the favor of the bill. Then yeah, that is possible.
Okay, alright, sure. Did you want to argue vote for?
Okay. Those in the favor? And those in not in favor? Okay.
Alright, it passes. Great. Okay. Can you have your zero on real quick? It's on the same board. Do you need it? Do you need this presentation to talk about it? Yeah. Is it just yeah, can you log into your account? Oh yeah.
In case anyone's wondering, Colgate basketball's up 8 on Bucknell with 7 minutes to go. There's a little score update. Lakers in front.
Okay, so who here doesn't know what the flags in front are? Everybody knows it, right? So the original document said like if the people from a particular country all graduate, so the flag of that country will be taken down. But like we can see the flags haven't been taken down. So the issue is that we have run out of space, and there's the issue of having more flags up there. But the issue is kind of complicated because we don't have any space here. So what we can do is like have flags like in the areas like towards the left, like your guys' left. But then there'd be like issue, people say like, why isn't our flag in the center and why is it like pushed to the corner? So we have to like come up with a solution which we have all the flags in the center. I brainstormed like a few ideas with the Office of International Students to see where we could have more flags. And then there's the issue of like fire hazard. Thomas and I met with Gary Fritz, who's like the fire safety guy at campus safety, to discuss whether the solutions we are proposing are like feasible in accordance with the fire safety policies. So we have come up with a few solutions, but firstly I'd like to ask you guys, like, what do you think is a feasible and possible solution to this issue? Like, where do you guys think we could have more flags? Or like, how should we move forward with this? Yeah.
Maybe create all flags that small and keep them all the signs.
So we thought about that, but so there's like a standard size for a flag. Like I don't want like my flag to be this size and hanging up there. So there's this issue of like people saying, oh, like there's this integrity of the flag. And this kind of thing.
So the space between from one side to another, is there a possibility where there's like a stick that goes diagonally, and then like the flag is like hung like diagonally, like the rest of the flags are missing? Or is that a
in these rules, or like are you saying all of these flags, or like all of these like run diagonally?
No, we can keep these, right? Or like whatever, right? But we can one suggestion is keep these and then have a diagonal like stick going across from one end to another, and then put the extra flags, or do that way if that works better, whatever.
Lastly, you can move up on.
Yes, going all that, if you just ran like a cable, like, see how the only folds that you built, you had a cable right down the middle, and you almost have to go that right to the middle.
With our solution,
Yes, we should be able to. You know that.
Yeah, that's one part. So we thought about like having flags like on the having flags like on the sides, but there's this issue of like we don't want to block these ventilation sockets, and on the other side there's windows, so we can't have flags on the sides. But Gary Bridge like suggested we could have like flags here under the ventilation sockets on the wall, placed like horizontally and not vertically. So we could have like flags all around. But then also we could have like flags on the chimney portion. Yeah, like towards the very end. But then we'd have to like put them up the above the windows, a little bit higher than the other flags. So then there's again the issue of like people saying that, oh, our flags are like at the very end, but other people would say like those flags are higher and our flags are kind of lower. So there's this issue of that too. And yeah, so one other problem solution we thought of was, so you see where the American flag is hanging, like right on top of like all other flags. So we have like 9 more of these kind of spaces, and we could like have flags there as well. But again, people would say like, oh, you have put like people whose flags are like on the lower portion would say like, we need our flag up there. Like, why are the other flags up there and why are ours is lower? So we thought of like having choosing flags for those spaces based on like the numbers of flag come from that country. But like that's I guess not a fair criteria. So the solution we have thought of is to have okay, so the solution we have thought of is running like wires across like horizontally parallel to these rows, but a bit higher, and like having firstly one flag on each wire, so that because you see like these lamps are hung by these wires who like run or have like V shape, so we don't want to like add another row because these wires will like cut through those flags and this is kind of disrespectful. So initially we have like we'll install all the 10 rows like at the very beginning, but we'll add only one flag to each of them, and then in the future if like the need arises to add more, we could like simply add more flags to those rows. And we kind of calculated so we could have 3 flags on each of those rows without worrying about these wires like cutting through those flags. And we're also proposing a new thing. So currently these flags only represent the students who are like technical international, like who have actually come from like other countries, and they don't represent people who are like international but who are American citizens. So like people who have been living here for like I guess like a few years maybe, and they have like American passport and stuff, and their flags are not up there. So we're thinking of having those flags up there too, because if we just go about like adding flags based on like actual international students, we just have like a few more flags,
and that would like kind of mess up the symmetry maybe. Like having like seeing more flags is kind of pleasant. So yeah.
Sorry, you guys mentioned this earlier, but are the flags representative of students currently in Colgate or like any student who's graduating?
So yeah, that's the thing. So initially it was meant to represent only students who are currently at Colgate. So it was proposed that the flag would be taken down if all the people from a country like graduate. But then if like so in 2019, like all the people from like Pakistan graduate, and then like the next year or maybe the year after that, another student comes from Pakistan, then there'll be issue of like hanging a flag back up again, and like then we'd have to take down the flag. We switch the Pakistani flag one. So there's like we are just thinking of like putting up flags and then keeping them there. So in the future, if anybody comes from those countries, so they don't have to worry about the flag. Yeah.
You guys usually like putting flags, unless you said earlier, in any of the seating areas?
So yeah, I mentioned that, but then like people kind of argue that why are our flags not in the very center, like because these flags are like visible right when we enter front, right? So but then for those flags you have to like go in and like actually like come with the purpose of seeing that flag, right? So then how would we choose which flag goes to the side, which flag goes to the center? So yeah.
Since the flags will be in a vertical direction, tourists will be visible when you enter France, because people would say that the horizontal flags can be seen easily, but their flags are not being seen easily. For example,
we're not talking about like hanging them vertically. We're talking about hanging them like parallel to these flags. Okay. Yeah. But like at a bit higher level, so we don't have to like go under to see them. Any ideas you guys have?
A lot of people complain about like their flag potentially being like far away or like up high or like down. Because I just feel like I don't think anyone would be upset. Like I think they'd be happy the flag is there. You know?
Yeah, but we have to like take into consideration like these kind of concerns because people like really sensitive towards their like nationalities. Especially the idea of like putting flags on the side like in the seating areas is kind of I think like not the best solution to this.
So you gotta so you gotta keep it all in the net as possible.
Like in this area.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
I feel like you could fit way more flags if you just like scrap this whole idea of like facing like when you walk in and just had every flag like parallel.
Rotated,
yeah. Yeah.
But then again we not be able to like see the flags when we enter.
Yeah, but
we have to like turn ourselves to like one.
Yeah, I get that, but at the same time, like if we do have problems with people like feeling like their flag should be equally represented, that's the best way to do it. Because then you like walk in, get your food, and then you look up and you see the flag.
But we have to like preserve the aesthetic.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to you. I think like if you want to preserve the aesthetics of it, then people are going to be unhappy. But like if you don't really care about it, and you just want to see like your flag up there, then like the best way would just be like go like this, parallel to it.
Yeah.
Also, is it for sure a problem this year that there are more flags that need to be represented than there are spots? And
yeah,
like,
so
students haven't left, and like you can take one down and replace it.
There's this one first year that sent so many emails being like, SGA is so inefficient, they haven't put my flag up. So like people are really upset about it.
And there's none that can be taken down, because it seems like that is what we're doing.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's my question, is like, could they be updated such that there would be more spots now? Like, you know what I'm saying?
You're saying like taking down flags.
Are there some, yeah, like, are there some?
Who are not like who have graduated. But then if the like students from that country like come in the future years, then they will be.
Presumably students from other countries would then leave the next year, like it seems like it would be, was that how it's supposed to be?
Rotation, but like because like Colgate try to reach out to like more countries, so each year like the number of countries represented at Colgate increases. Like I looked at the statistics before applying to Colgate, so initially it was like around 40, but this year we have like 56 countries, so like 16 more faculty. Yeah.
Most of the time going up like that, if you have any original idea of like taking products down when people like graduating, switching it out, I think there's like taking into consideration if the goal is to like continuously add like more people from like different countries, like isn't it kind of like in a sense of stuff like temporary like solution is people come, like, it's gonna, like, cause, like, I know, like, to some extent, like, it's not gonna, it was gonna be symmetrical, like, for how, like, more people, so eventually we're gonna want more space.
So you're also saying it's good in class?
Yeah.
We have to change it like every year. And in some years, like, gone out of space again.
It's like, I think it's like
Yeah. Alright, maybe one more suggestion.
Have you thought about making cables perpendicular to these current ones and then hanging the flags on a metal pole so that they would be parallel with them, so that they could all be at the same height and you wouldn't have to deal with fire concerns? Say do it right down the middle or every third. That way you could avoid the fire, have equal representation, and have them at the same height.
So on the point of like fire safety, so the guy like told us that as long as the flags are like fire resistant, so you could put up as many number of flags as you want. And I think that's
So you know how those flags are hanged on what looks to be like a cable right now?
Yeah.
So if you were to put another cable down perpendicular, but then have like a little metal fixture with a hole, and then a bar where you could hang the flag parallel with these current ones, but still have it be on a perpendicular rod, that would solve these spatial issues that we're encountering.
Sounds like a fair idea, but
we'll chat.
Hit me up with a visual
Okay, great.
I think that, yeah, that's the solution. Great. Do you have one that needs to have anything?
It's a shame we don't have an engineer in the front.
So you guys will probably like see more classes.
Great. That's really great. Yeah, for those of you who are confused, like why are we not done this, technically SGA is tasked with doing the class. So that's why this is an issue of discussion. Okay, good to the order. Thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you all for actively participating. I want to say, if you came, I feel like everyone in this room must have come up with at least one idea, or was part of a group that came up with a plurality of ideas. So the point of this is not so that you write them on the Post-it and then you walk out of the room and never think about them ever again. The point is, if you like an idea, it doesn't have to be one you came up with. It could be one your partner came up with. It could be one that you heard from another corner of the room. Do something about it, okay? Start with your committee. Start with just another friend that you haven't sent it. We are very good at coming up with good ideas. There are a lot of really good ideas. There's a lot of really smart students in this room. The question is, how are you going to act on those ideas? Okay, and that's something that this body has constantly struggled with. And so, as much as I enjoy seeing a training like this and all these really great ideas, I'm just going to be blunt, it's worthless if we don't act on it. So, if you need a resource, come to me, come to a committee chair, come to Jenny, let's talk about the ideas, let's talk about how we can turn them into action. Are there any questions? Okay, seeing none, are there any announcements? Micah.
We have to get the room back in shape. Professor Hart booked it under her name, so it's our responsibility to get the chairs out of storage, to put the tables back, and to take the sticky notes down. And if we could get everybody's help with that, that'll get us all out of here as soon as possible.
Okay, any other announcements? Lucy.
We're going to thank you now for me right now. I'd be very, very grateful. Also, come to meet up in Blackberry Cafe again tomorrow. I'll be here.
Any other announcements?
If you're free tonight, come over and show debates and mock trial.
Sorry. Okay, anyone else want to plug anything? If not, chair, would you favor motion to adjourn? Seconded, all in favor?